Big story, the end of the line.
Chrysler, one of Detroit's most iconic brands, may be on the chopping block. An announcement could come tomorrow, and that's according to a major automotive publication. Fiat Chrysler CEO Sergio Marchionne reportedly would tell investors that the Chrysler brand will be cut. That would mark the end of a storied and often troubled Detroit brand dating back nearly a century.
Our big story coverage begins with 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner live in Bloomfield Hills at a longtime Chrysler dealer. And Jim, have the people there been told anything yet?
No, Dave, dealers haven't been told anything. Bill Golling here says you need to invest to have a future, and Chrysler hasn't done that. These are the only 2 models they make right now, literally. Some say they've starved this brand into this final chapter.
It's purely speculative in nature, but they have so starved the Chrysler brand.
He's reading the tea leaves, sitting atop the Crain Communications building overlooking the Motor City, writing for Automotive News. He points out Chrysler is only making an old 300-passenger car, the newer up-to-date Pacifica minivan, along with a Pacifica hybrid. That's it. 4 years ago, Chrysler's plan was to maintain 8 different models.
The Pacifica will stay, and they may just keep the Chrysler badge on the Pacifica and just say that's the brand.
I've always liked them.
Margaret Zate is picking up this new Pacifica today in Warren. She wants it to carry around her grandkids. She was shocked to hear the iconic Chrysler name might be phased out.
I've been around a long time, and I've known the name Chrysler for many, many years. I think I'd be pretty sad if it disappeared.
On the other hand, Jeep sales account for 75% of the business here at Jim Reel's dealership in Warren. Additional speculation is Jeep will be expanding in smaller models and at the top of the line, the luxurious Grand Wagoneer. The person in the driver's seat is CEO Sergio Marchionne.
You know, from our standpoint, I think Mr. Marchionne's made some good decisions. You might question them at the time they're announced, but as it plays out, it seems like he's really usually ahead of the curve.
Some point to hints given along the way, including this past January at the Detroit Auto Show. No talk of ending Chrysler then, but knowing its deep roots.
We've got a pretty distinct history in this country and certainly in this town. You know, in 2009, a number of people saved our bacon.
So why now? Marchionne is retiring and he wants to leave this company in the best financial shape. By the way, just today, 62,000 Pacificas ordered by a company called Waymo, a driverless fleet. They want the hybrids, so there is a future for that model. And one other note about Fiat Chrysler, it is Fiat. We are expecting another part of this announcement tomorrow that the Fiat small cars will be discontinued here in the U.S., but expanded overseas where they sell like hotcakes. Live in Bloomfield Hills, Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.
What a story, Jim. Thank you so much. And our big story coverage continues now with Action News reporter Ali Hoxie, who shows us that this isn't the first time the automaker's been in a tight spot. Ali.
Glenda, the Chrysler brand launched in 1925, but the automaker has had its shares of struggles. That includes bailouts and bankruptcies. The major changes started in 1998. That's when Chrysler paired up with Daimler-Benz, a German company, and they became known as Daimler Chrysler. But about 10 years after that merger in 2007, Daimler-Benz sold Chrysler to a new private equity owner, Cerberus Capital Management, for over $7 billion. Just a year later, during the 2008 recession, Chrysler files for bankruptcy. The federal government provided the Detroit automaker with $4 billion to stay afloat. In 2009, Fiat steps in and they become known as Fiat Chrysler. Since then, there's been a lot of changes under the Italian automaker. The original goal of the merge was to focus on creating well-engineered small cars, but with more Americans wanting bigger cars, this may all change. Ali Hoxie, 7 Action News.
All right, Ali, thank you. And if that decision is made tomorrow, we're talking about the end of Chrysler. We will send you a push alert on your phone as soon as it happens. Stay with Action News for continuing coverage.